I bought this ranch because I wanted peace and privacy. $5 million bought me more than a beautiful house. It bought me hundreds of acres and complete independence. Or at least, that's what I thought. Most evenings, I'd sit on that porch and watch the sunset. There were no neighbors close enough to bother me. No traffic, no noise, and definitely no HOA meetings. Then a new development appeared beyond my southern fence. The development eventually created its own HOA. Karen became the president and quickly decided my ranch was part of her vision. She complained about my fencing and private road. I politely explained that I wasn't her HOA. Karen didn't appreciate being told no. She said my property affected the neighborhood's appearance. I reminded her that my land predated the development. She told me that wasn't going to stop her. I checked my deed again just to be certain. The boundaries were crystal clear. My ranch was a separate, private parcel. There wasn't a single HOA restriction attached to it. The county records confirmed everything. The development ended at my property line. Karen's HOA had jurisdiction over its own members. It had no authority over me. Instead of accepting that, Karen called an HOA board meeting. She complained about my ranch to anyone willing to listen. She said I was refusing to cooperate with the community. Then she made a decision that would backfire badly. Karen decided to involve law enforcement. She claimed there was an unauthorized person living on the ranch. That person was me, the legal owner. She apparently thought the police would simply remove me. I knew nothing about her phone call. I was sitting on my porch enjoying my coffee. Then I noticed several vehicles approaching my private road. That's when I realized something was happening. Several sheriff vehicles came down the driveway. Karen arrived behind them in her SUV. She looked completely confident. I couldn't help wondering what story she told them. Karen pointed toward me as soon as they arrived. She told the deputies I refused to leave. She claimed I was occupying property controlled by the HOA. The deputies listened without interrupting her. I stood up and walked toward the porch railing. I didn't argue with Karen. I simply asked the deputies what was going on. One deputy asked for my name. Daniel looked at me for a few seconds. Then his expression completely changed. He smiled and said, "Jack?" I smiled back. "Good to see you, sir," Daniel said. We shook hands like old acquaintances. Karen stared at us as if she'd just seen a ghost. She clearly hadn't expected that greeting. Karen immediately interrupted us. She demanded that Daniel remove me from the property. Daniel calmly asked her what crime I had committed. Karen suddenly struggled to answer. One Daniel looked through the HOA paperwork. Then he asked for property address and parcel number. Karen handed him her documents confidently. Daniel checked the information against his records. Daniel showed Karen the county property record. My ranch was clearly listed as a separate parcel. The HOA's boundary stopped long before my front gate. Karen's entire argument began falling apart. Karen insisted there must be some kind of mistake. Daniel told her there wasn't. He explained that HOA rules didn't automatically apply to private property outside the association. Karen's confidence was disappearing by the second. Daniel asked Karen why she had requested police assistance. She repeated her complaints about my property. Daniel explained that a property dispute wasn't a reason to remove the legal owner. Then he asked her to step away from my property. Karen arrived expecting the deputies to throw me out. Instead, Daniel greeted me like an old friend. The deputies confirmed that my ranch was completely private. And Karen left knowing she had just called the cops on the wrong property owner.